What up, YouTube? This is Leroy Gain 85, aka The Last Dragon, and I'm doing a contest entry for an awesome YouTuber named JayxRico. And I'm very glad I stumbled upon his channel, probably from a shout out from either the visual expression, what's going on, and WrestleMania 11:30. Shout out to both of them. I think they might have had a video, either one, shouting out a couple of YouTubers, and I think that's probably how I came across JayxRico, and I'm really glad I did. He has a great channel, very good content. He kind of share like similar tastes in films and other things like that, and I think you should really check out his page. The link will be down below, and he has one of the best intros to his videos. Check it out. You'll see what I mean. It's only like 15 seconds, but it's really well shot and it's creative, and I'm really digging that. So keep up the good content. So as far as his content is concerned, he has a couple questions, and his first thing I think he might ask is like, "What's your favorite thriller?" And there's a couple of them I was thinking of, but I'm gonna throw one that probably someone may not mention, and I'm gonna put Fatal Attraction. This is made in 1987. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close. Directed by Adrian Lyne. Yeah, I think he did Unfaithful with Richard Gere, and that's also a classic. Sort of in the same context as this. I consider this pretty much a thriller. If most people haven't seen this, or at least have heard of it, it's like that classic film with Michael Douglas, kind of like the average guy, family man, and Glenn Close's character. He basically, every man has a fantasy, and whether or not they actually go through with it, he kind of just takes a chance and has a weekend fling with her, and he thinks that it's done with, and what he didn't realize is there's always going to be some sort of consequence to your actions. I mean, yes, they're both adults, they're consulting adults, but just because you think you had fun doesn't mean that she didn't have any feelings. So obviously she has her own way deep psychological and mental issues, and she goes from just showcasing her feelings to him, and now trying to basically try to ruin his life because he can't accept, he's not gonna choose her over his wife and his kid. So she tries to make his life a living hell. She pretty much stalks him, and then it becomes this game of cat and mouse of who's gonna outdo the other as far as teaching someone a lesson. And then without going too deep into it, he tries to move away. He doesn't want his wife to know, but then he has to choose whether or not he has to make that decision whether he should tell his wife of what's going on, or all this crazy stuff is happening to him. And like the thriller really comes in as far as you don't know what she's capable of, because she's just nuts up here, and you really see some deep psychological issues as far as for someone you would think highly professional as she is, she has a lot of deep rooted issues going on, and the film kind of, it brushes on it. It doesn't really go too deep into it. It kind of goes more for the slick thrills, which really works, and then the ending is kind of crazy. So in that sense, it's a thriller in my mind. It's very well made. I still watch it at least once a year. It's very well, like I said, it's well paced, nicely shot. It's well acted. It's Michael Douglas, Glenn Close. I mean, this is pretty much the role everyone knows her for. I mean, she's done so much great work, but everyone's always going to remember her for this, and especially the bunny boiling scene, and it's pretty iconic, and I can't recommend this enough. So this is pretty much my favorite thriller, Fatal Attraction. Favorite 90s movie, I mean, there's a ton I can think of, but I'm always going to come back to this. and that's Tom Hanks. You know, one of his probably his most iconic role to date, and that's Forrest Gump, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Um, he's famous for the Back to the Future series, and he's done many other things besides that. Recently did a Flight with Denzel. Um, I mean, I've seen this movie like at least 50 times. This is one of these movies that if it's on TV, doesn't matter what season, I'll just stop whatever I'm doing and watch it. I recently got this the Blu-ray from the Best Buy upgrade and save, and I'm glad I did. It's a timeless classic. You know, Tom Hanks is based on a novel, and Tom Hanks plays the character Forrest Gump, and it kind of like showcase goes back in time from the past, and they really do a great job of infusing real life historical events. And he's in it, and it's the upon, and it's like the special effects, even for that time, it still holds up today. But it's really more about his journey and being out. Of course, Forrest Gump is not the most smart guy. He's pretty simple, but in a sense, he's sort of he kind of can see the world, and through his eyes, is he's not as stupid as people think he is. And the love he has for that woman Jenny and the lengths he goes through for her kind of just really makes the movie as special as it is. So I can't recommend this enough. Forrest Gump by Tom Hanks. Uh, I think this is gonna be a different answer. They say favorite movie character. I can think of 100 times of different types of characters, but this character itself is pretty much my being. Why motivates me to be who I am today. And if you don't know, my YouTube name kind of gives it a hint. It's the character Bruce Leroy Green, who stars in Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Timok plays this character, Bruce Leroy. He's known in the neighborhood as Bruce Leroy because he's a Bruce Lee fanatic. Um, he's like in his early 20s. He's a martial arts student. He's pretty much devoted his whole life into the Eastern philosophy, the martial arts. Um, he's a guy that, just like anyone during in their that particular age, is trying to find themselves, not quite confident in what they know yet. I mean, he has all the tools as far as his abilities, but doesn't really realize his full potential that he has all the power within himself. It's just finding that inner confidence. And that's why I love this movie so much. It really speaks to people of all walks of life as far as that's concerned, and also his character in himself. I mean, he's shy, he's humble, he doesn't have to be cocky in that sense of knowing that he can kick anyone's ass. It's just like he doesn't realize it yet. He thinks that he's not good enough, but in essence, he is. But just what he represents as far as, as far as doing good to others and wanting to improve oneself, he is my favorite movie character of all time. And finally, when he realizes that he had the power within himself, it's just he radiates literally with a glow. And I don't have to explain. Maybe one day I'll do a whole in depth video as far as this film is concerned. But just this thing of it, all walks of life, and many movies have covered this, and just even within your own, uh, with your own personal journey, sometimes you need people, friends, family, loved ones to just push you, but also they can push you to a certain point, but you have to find that power within yourself. When you realize you have that power, that inner confidence, that inner master, then the world's at ease. You have achieved your manhood, you achieve your womanhood, you achieve something that can't be taken away from you. And that's why I always gain from this movie and also from this character. So if you ever get a chance, it's definitely on YouTube. You can watch it there. and that's Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon and favorite character Bruce Leroy. Classic film within the 30s to the 60s. One in particular that always grabs my attention, and that's the original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. This is a special edition DVD version, and I love this version of the film. I'm not a big fan of the remake with Mark Wahlberg. This is Charlton Heston. The guy is classic. I mean, with the Bible films with Ten Commandments and Ben Hur, and but this is it's probably my favorite one of his. Uh, this is the one that started it all. I'm not a big fan of the sequels, but I mean, this is what started it all. He plays an astronaut, and they're sent on a particular mission. These particular astronauts, they go to sleep, and somehow they end up going back, either deep into the future, and now the planet is now overrun by apes. And something like this can definitely go silly, but they take this and make a very serious social satire out of this, and you really get to see. And if you really watch, and you really watch it deeply, and see some of the content that's in this film, as far as the apes, the different social casts of apes, and which one is the more intellects, the ones that are the workers, the physical workers, the smart ones, and they kind of think about how society is today, or even any time, on how everything is categorized and cast. And you see Charlton Heston now as the humans being slaves, and how the roles are reversed as far as animals, mammals, and humans. You really get to see the deep rooted issues that we sort of face every day, and it's kind of telling a tale within a film. And a film like this kind of, it brushes it, you see it, it doesn't like throw it at you, but you know as a film watcher, you can definitely get all those ideas that the filmmakers have thrown at it. It's highly entertaining, and it's a great sci-fi, and you damn dirty ape. I mean, there's a lot of classic lines in here, and the ending, which is like, wow, total mind blowing experience. Which, I mean, I don't really have to say. If you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. Um, this obviously spawned sequels, TV series, and X, Y, and Z. But I mean, when it always comes down to it, even the new one with James Franco was actually very good, and I'm looking forward to what they do as far as a sequel. But it always boils down to this, and this is definitely a classic. Now, I think the other question was favorite actor or actresses. I guess I can't. I guess I'll go with like either Pacino or like Robert De Niro. Um, those guys are just. I mean, anything they do is always going to be great. I mean, you think of De Niro, you think of Godfather 2, think of Raging Bull, Taxi Driver. One is one of my personal favorites. Cape Fear. I can keep going. Al Pacino, of course, the Godfather series. I love a lot of his '70s stuff. Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon. Of course, Scarface. Okay. Um, and the list keeps going on and on. Actresses, I can always think of like Meryl Streep. She's always great, and even Glenn Close, which I show from Fatal Attraction. But I say those are pretty much right up there. And once again, this is a content entry for JayxRico. Please check out his channel, and what do you do, man? These are pretty much my answers. So peace out.